بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا مولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I pray that you all are well, inshaAllah ta'ala. And we can start with the dua together, inshaAllah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك آمين. Bismillah. So Alhamdulillah, pray you all well, inshallah ta'ala. And we're going to jump right into our Nahwu lesson, inshallah. So I think you've seen this slide many, many times, and I'm just trying to show it to you so that you keep showing it to you so that you can basically form a mind map of where we are at the moment. So in terms of where we are, we have completed so far the two jumlas. We have completed so far the two jumlas, Jumlatul Ismiya and Jumlatul Fi'liya. So now we are basically on the murakkabs, and the murakkabs means the compounds or the fragments, the little parts of a sentence which we can integrate into a bigger sentence. So far we've done mawsoof and sifa as a murakkab. We've done harfu jar and ism majroor, and most recently we've done mudafun and mudafun ilayhi. So that's where we are so far. So I want to go straight into our last lesson. Maybe just to refresh your mind, who wants to just translate that for me quickly? Kitabul waladi. Can someone just translate quickly or pop it in the chat there, inshallah? I have a hand up from Huawei P8 Lite 2017.
The book of the boy.
Okay, so Bismillah, mashallah. That translates as the book of the boy. The book of the boy. Okay. So those are the two parts that we are doing now, the mudaf and ilayh. So if you think of mudaf and ilayh, it's good to think of it as the something of something. So it's good to think of it as the something of something. So here we have Kitabul Waladi, so it's going to be the book of the boy. Or if you want to say it in a different way, you can say the boy's book, but we'll just keep it the book of the boy. Who can remind me what are the signs of mudaf and ilayh? In other words, how do I know that's a mudaf and ilayh? Bismillah. Anybody? How do I know that's a mudaf and ilayh?
The mudaf has no al and no tanween.
Okay, good. So the first thing is that the mudaf has no al and no tanween. Good. What else is there? So you can see kitabu there has no al and no tanween. What else is there?
The mudaf ilayhi is always in jar.
And the mudafun ilayh, oops,
Always
let me
in
put this
jar.
off here, is always in jar.
Assalamu alaikum Alana. And the mudaf is always light.
And the mudaf is always light. So what's the definition of light?
How do I say this now?
There's no noon.
Yeah, there we go. Allah.
There's two things for light. One thing at the beginning, one thing at the end.
No al and no noon at the back.
Okay, so the first thing about light is that there's no al at the beginning, yeah, like and there's no al kitab. And at the end, when you say there's no noon, we mean there's no tanween or nun sound. There's no tanween or there is no noon that would normally be there. So there's either a tanween missing or there's a noon missing, a nun sound at the end there, and that's light. So in other words, how do you recognize this? There's no al, there's no tanween or noon at the end of the first word, and the second word is in jar. And therefore you have kitabu waladi. You have kitabul waladi, the book and the book of the boy. And when you have that construction, you have a mudafun and a mudafun ilayhi. So that's how you recognize it. You have a light followed by jar, and then you have a mudafun and mudafun ilayhi. Okay, good. And then yesterday, last week we discussed what is light, and light is just again Muslimun becomes Muslimu. So the one in red is light. Musliman becomes Muslimah, and Muslimin becomes Muslimi. And the same thing with the ani, Muslimani, the noon drops off, becomes Muslima, Muslimaini, Muslimai, Muslimaini, Muslimai, Muslimuna, Muslimu, Muslimina, Muslimi, and Muslimina, Muslimi. So if you look at that slide there, you'll see that all of those ones in red are light. They have no al and they have no tanween or n at the end. Okay. So that's mudaf, mudaf ilayhi, and I won't go through that there again. So if you have a light followed by jar, so the rule is basically if you have light followed by jar, you have light followed by jar, you have mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. Just some further notes about this is that there's always an implied the at the mudaf. So in other words, the mudaf is always definite, number one. And number two is nothing can come between the mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. Whereas like a sif al-mawsuf, you can have words in between a sif al-mawsuf, but between a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi, you can't have anything between them. Okay. I wanted us to go. I don't think we finished this. Did we finish this? No, we didn't finish this. Okay. So, Bismillah, we're going to give each person one turn to shout out an answer. So I think I think more or less it's about number 11, inshallah, Ashabul Fil. And again, we can see Ashab, no al, no tanween, light, followed by al-fili, jar. So we have mudaf, mudaf ilayh. So we added the and a of. Translation, Bismillah. You can just shout out quickly.
Assalamu alaikum. The companions of the elephant.
The companions of the elephant. Good. Next one, Ashabul Jannati, Ashabal Jannati.
The companions of paradise, or the two.
The companions of paradise, or we can say of the garden. Jannah literally means garden. Next one, Sabilullahi.
The path of Allah.
Okay, it's going to be the path of Allah. Good, the path of Allah. Next one, Rijalullahi.
The men of Allah.
Rijal, yes. So Rijal is going to be a broken plural, and normally it's Rijalun, but here we can see it's light, and therefore it's going to be light and jar. So therefore it's mudaf mudaf ilayh, the men of Allah. Next one, Ahlul Bayti. Ahlul Bayti.
The people of the house.
The people of the house. Good. Ahl can be people or family. The people of the house. Next one. Muqimis salati.
The raisings of the prayer.
So muqim,
Standing or risings.
standing. Okay, so basically muqim does come from standing. So muqim is the one who stands, but
I stand.
so basically we can render it as meaning the one who established, the one who makes something stand, who makes something permanent, the establisher of the prayer. Not establisher, establishes, because remember it's a plural. Muqimuna is a raf'un, muqimina is nasb and jar. So you can see there that the noon has been dropped off, and as-salati is in jar. Okay, next one. Rajulun salihun. Translation.
A pious man.
Okay, it's going to be a pious man. Is that mudaf and mudaf ilayh?
No, Masuf and Sifa.
It is a mawsuf and sifa. Why? Because you can see there that there's no al, there's no light, there's no jar. So that's just the mawsuf and sifa, which means a pious man. Rajulu salihin. Rajulu. We're also waiting for new people to make their debut.
A
I
man
know you're
is.
thinking about it for a week now.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
A man is salih. A man is pious.
Okay,
Mudaf,
okay.
mudaf ilayh.
But may I ask, who is Mr. Wawi P8 Light?
Yeah.
Okay, he's confidential, he's undercover. Okay. Well, so is it Rajulu Salihin? So is Rajulu Salihin first of all is Mudaf Mudaf ilayh?
It is mudaf ilayh.
Okay, why? Because it's
It's light.
is
It's
light,
light
yes.
and jar. And
It's
it's
light and jar, good. So Rajulu is light and Salihin is jar. And Mudaf Mudaf ilayh, what do we add? We add at the beginning, we
the
add
man.
the man
The man is
of,
pious.
not is, so we add a of in the middle.
Mm.
So with Mudaf Mudaf ilayh, we add a of in the middle. So the man of Salihin means a pious person.
Mm.
So Rajulu Salihin means the man of a pious person. Okay. Next one. Rajulus Salihi. Is that Mudaf Mudaf ilayh? Anyone? Rajulus Salihi.
Yes, it is. It's the man of the pious person.
Okay, good. So Rajulu is light and As-Salihi is jar, and therefore we have Mudaf Mudaf ilayh. So therefore we have the man of the pious person. Okay, and the last one, Ar-Rajulus Salihu. Translation.
The pious man.
The pious man. What type of construction is that?
Mawsuf and Sifa.
It's a Mawsuf and Sifa and can't be Mudaf Mudaf ilayh. Why? Because in the Mudaf Mudaf ilayh number 20 here, we never have an al at the beginning that is visible. So this is, and the Salih should be, it's not jar here, so both the signs are missing. Okay. We'll send you the answer sheet for this inshallah, and then you can mark your homework. I think these are too easy for you. Yeah, these are too easy.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I just have a question about I think 18, 19,
Bismillah.
18 and 19. So it's translated as the man of. So 18 is the man of piety, or but they're adding something at the end there.
Okay, so first of all, we will translate Salih. Salih will be a pious man, or a pious man or a pious person.
Okay.
Salih is a pious person. So Rajulu Salihin will mean the man of a pious person.
Okay.
And number 19 will be Rajulu As-Salihi means the man of the pious person.
Okay, Maulana, shukran.
To make it easier, you can just maybe swap out the Rajul for Kitab. It'll sound easy in translation. For example, if I make it Kitabu Salihin, it will mean the book of a pious man. If I make it Kitabu Salihi, it will be the book of the pious man. Just it looks a bit weird because the word Rajul is just there. Okay. These are too easy for you. I'm going to give you some more challenging examples, inshallah. Okay, I gave you this one last week. Now, I'm not going to ask anybody to answer right now. I'm going to ask you to take a moment, and look at that. So just I'm going to give you like a minute. Maliki yawmiddin. And I'm going to take a moment, inshallah. And remember what we're looking for now, because now as we see Mudaf and Mudaf ilayh in a sentence, it becomes a bit more challenging to see it. So now take a moment and then look to see what you can make out from the sentence. Can you see a light word followed by jar? Can you see a light word followed by jar? And I do want to encourage some people who have not spoken yet to please join us and speak. No one can see you, and yeah, it makes it more fun if more people speak. It's actually part of your personal development to overcome your fears and to feel a feeling of discomfort. You know, if you go to whatever life coach and stuff, they can tell you that that's part of the process. You have to confront your fears and you have to face your fears. And I know for many people, like public speaking is like one of the top fears. I'm not sure if it's true, but they said they did a survey and then they found that uh, when they surveyed people's fears, they found that public speaking was number one and number two was death. So that tells you something, eh? Sure. Anyway, so who's someone new? Bismillah. Who's ready? Who's ready to make their debut? Just clear your throat.
Um, yes,
Brother
I
Junaid.
think,
Brother
Yaumiti.
Junaid, are you making a debut?
Not exactly, but
Are you making?
I didn't speak in a while because I haven't been doing homework in a while.
Oh, okay, okay. This is not a confession, no? Mashallah, mashallah. Bismillah, bismillah. This is
So
Nabila.
yeah,
Okay, bismillah.
consider Yaumiddin is that construction course. Yaumi is light because it's no al, and
Okay.
and then it's like the day of. Actually, no.
No,
I'm
you're right.
confused.
You're right. You're right. You're
Am
right.
I
So,
right?
you're right so
So
far. Yes. So basically, Yom is light. There's no al on Yom, and there's no tanween. So Yom is light, right?
yeah, so it's the yeah, and then Adin is in as a al in front of it, so it is the Mudaf Ilayhi.
Okay. So just pause for a second there. After light, what do we look for next? Remember, there's always two things we look for: light and followed by. Who wants to help me out quickly? Light
The
followed
The
jar.
by.
word in jar.
The jar.
Oh, okay, so Brother Junaid, it's always we're always looking for light followed by jar. So Yaumi right
Okay,
is light, and
so Adin is
Adini
jar because it's
is
a
jar.
ni.
Okay, so then we have Mudaf and Mudaf Nilay. When we have Mudaf and Mudaf Nilay, what do we add in terms of translation? What do we add?
We add the in front of or of, yeah, sorry,
No, as best, you're right. You add both. You add what? You add
the of,
the before the Mudaf and of after the Mudaf.
yes,
Okay, so let's translate Deen as judgment. How will this translate Yawmid Deen?
the day of judgment.
Okay, the day of the judgment, or just the day of judgment is fine. Okay, so the day of the judgment. Okay, so that's fine. The day of judgment or the day of the judgment, that's fine. So how about Malik? What's happening with Malik? What hal is Malik in? Oh, okay, no, is Malik light or is it normal?
It's also light.
Okay, okay. Vajay, are you with me? So Tawheeda,
I'm
we need brother Junaid just do this one quickly, inshallah. So is Malik light or is it jar? I mean, is it light or is it normal?
It's light because there's
Okay,
no
why is it light?
there's no
Yes, good.
and there's no tanween at the end.
Good, there's no tanween. Is
So
yo okay?
so then is that like the mudaf of if you take the whole if you take Yawmiddin as a mudaf ilayh and in itself, then can Maliki be the mudaf of that mudaf ilayh?
Okay, so let's check. We look for two things from Mudaf and Ilayhi. We look for light followed by jar. So you
Yes.
identified Malik as light.
Yes.
Is Yawm jar?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So when you have that, what do you have?
A
When you have light
mudaf,
followed by jar, you have?
a mudaf, mudaf ilayhi.
Good, so you have another mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. Then what do you add to it?
We add the in the beginning and
Yes.
of after.
So translate Maliki Yawmi.
The
Maliki mean
master,
owner. Owner, let's say owner.
the owner of the day.
Okay. Is it the owner of a day or the owner of the day?
The day.
Why?
Is it because in the mudaf ilayhi construction, then the mudaf ilayhi is always at the.
You're on the right track. So in a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi construction, the mudaf always had it as an implied al. So I'll take you back quickly. Remember, Yawmiddin is a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi. So when you have a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi, the mudaf always has the implied the something of something. So this was the day of judgment. You remember?
Okay. Yes.
So before Yawm, you must imagine there's an al there. But now when you look at Maliki Yawmi, Malik is also a mudaf because it's light, and Yawm at the same time is also mudafun ilayh. So Yawm is
Okay.
two things, mudafun ilayh to Malik and it's mudaf to Din.
Okay.
So the translation is going to be the day of the owner
Of the day
of the day
of the judgment.
of the judgment or just judgment. Yeah, tough debut after doing the homework for a while.
Yeah, no?
That's the qadr of Allah Ta'ala. You know what happens? You don't do your homework for a while, then you come to on air, and you get a very tough one. Okay, well, shukran so much. Okay, so that is what I wanted to what I wanted to do the whole class to see here, inshallah, is that sometimes you have a situation where you have a sequence of mudaf and mudafun ilays. And it's fairly common actually. It's fairly common where you have mudaf and mudafun ilay, maliki yawmi, but at the same time the mudafun ilay is also mudaf. So you keep adding the something of the something of the something. You with me? So that's going to be a nice tough one. Take a moment, inshallah. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Either in the chat, you can ask me, or you can shout out the question, inshallah ta'ala.
Well, Malala, just a question, sorry, man.
Bismillah.
So if you look at the first two words there, like Brother Penel was explaining us of Maliki, Yawmi, is it because the Yawmi is basically the mudaf for the following word that you have the al in front? Because I was thinking like Maliki, the owner of a day is incorrect. So we're adding the in front of the Yawmi as well.
Yes, but we're adding the in front of the yomi because it's mudaf to the next word.
Okay, no, fine.
Okay,
Fine.
because it's mudaf next word,
Right.
that's why we're adding the al. Okay, good. Next one. Now, again, to take a moment, don't answer yet, inshallah. We'll just take a moment, look at this. I want you to think about, I'm sure for you the translation is easy. I'm sure for you now the translation of that is easy. But I want you to think about all the labels. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 labels to go on that sentence. 4 labels. So again, we're going to ask someone new to do a debut, inshallah. So Brother Nurein came. Who else is new here? There's so many names. I don't want to read out your name now. Sister Nabila is ready. Sister Nabila, you can, bismillah, you can unmute. Oh, you putting up your hand by mistake. Bismillah.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Sister Nabila, is this your debut?
Yes.
MashaAllah, mashallah. Welcome, mashallah. This is the first step to a new life, inshallah. I'm just kidding. Bismillah. Okay, so Sister Nabila, bismillah, let's go for translation first.
Okay, so I would translate it as in the book of the man.
Okay, good. So first translation, everybody. In the book of the man, so translation is completely correct. Bismillah. So translation is correct. So let's put on the labels for me.
Okay, so fi would be a hurtful jar.
Okay, good.
And then kitabi would be the ism majroor.
Okay,
and
good.
Also then kitabi would now be the mudaf and it's light,
Okay, good.
and arajuli is the mudaf ilayhi.
Okay, perfect. So we can see. Nashina, Nabila, was it better than expected?
Yes, I'm a bit nervous though.
No, inshallah. But please join us for future ones, inshallah. Okay, good. So, mashallah. So, kitabi is light and arajul is jar. So, therefore, we have mudaf and mudafun ilay. So, therefore, what do we add when we have mudaf and mudafun ilay?
There's a of in between.
There's a of in between, and what comes before kitab?
The because
The.
yes, it's definite because it's a light word. The definiteness is implied.
Okay, perfect. So, perfect. Shukran, Sayyidina Nabila. So, basically, again, fi harful jar, after harful jar always comes ismul majroor. Therefore, you can see why kitab is in jar, because it's ismul majroor. And then, so that's fi in, kitab is ismul majroor, and kitabu rajuli is going to be mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. So, translation, in the book of the man. Okay. So now we're going to ask a new person, inshallah. First, before I ask a new person, inshallah, let's first take a moment. Where's my mouse cursor disappeared? Here we go. We're going to take a moment and we're going to look at the next example first. Take a moment, look at the next example. So, mashallah, we have some debuts. Now we're looking for a new debut. I see so many names here. I think I'm start reading out the names now. Must I read out the names now? We have Dilshad, Hafidha, Hasina, HK, Ihsan, Insaf, but Irshad read already, Ismail, Khalid, Maryam. I can see all the names here. So we do have a new debut. Brother Junaid, we're looking for a new debutant.
I just want to ask a question actually.
Bismillah, Bismillah.
So I was just, my wife actually just asked me now, what if there is a al in front of the first word? Then does it become like, would that construction there be mawsuf sifa?
I mean, it wouldn't make sense in terms of the meaning to
I
be
know
mawsuf
that.
sifa.
I'm just saying,
So
if it was a al, does it become something different?
yeah, that wouldn't have a meaning in terms of
Okay.
the meaning of the words. It wouldn't have a meaning.
Okay.
It would be in the book, in the man book, to be like something to mean something like that in the man book or something. But it would be like a weird sentence.
Okay.
But,
So
generally, but the rule is basically a mudaf cannot have a visible al.
okay.
Okay. Good, mashallah. We're looking for a day. Who's making the debut? Bismillah. Who's making the debut?
The book Kitab
Sister Dilshad, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kabiru. The book
of the big man.
of the big man.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. Let's do Kitabu Rajuli on its own.
Then it's the book of the man.
Okay, so
Is
what is
big.
Kitab? Okay, let's leave Kabir for a second. Kitabu Rajuli. Let's put the labels on those two.
So Kitabu would be Mudaf.
Good. So Kitabu would be
So
a
it's light. So
the
when
mudaf, it's light.
gets
Yeah.
added and an of gets added.
Okay, good.
And Rajulu would be Mudaf Ilayhi.
Okay, so we have light followed by jar. So we have mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. Good. So we have the and of. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Al-Kabir.
Yeah.
What do you think the function of Al-Kabir is?
It's a sifa because he's describing the man.
Okay, so it's a sifa. Good.
Matches the man in gender.
But does it match the man in
And
gender?
Rajulu Kabiru.
Just look at the end of Rajul and look at the end of Kabir.
Rajulu is in jar and Kabiru is ooh. Okay.
Okay, so here's what's happening. So Rajuli is in jar and Kabiru is in Raf'un.
Raf'un.
Okay. So Al-Kabir is not describing a Rajul. Do you agree with me?
Rajul. So it's describing the book.
Okay, it's describing the book. So let me ask a nice question. Does Al-Kabir have the same ending as the book? Is the how the
Yes.
same as
Yes, it
Kitab?
is. Yes,
It's
it
Rafan
is.
Rafan. How about definiteness?
Yes, both are definite because Kitabu is
Okay.
light.
Okay, so I don't want the class to miss that. Al-Kabir is definite because there is an Al there, and Kitab is definite because it's Mudaf. Because
Yes.
Kitab Rajli means the book of the man. So therefore Al-Kabir is definite and
Big
Kitab is
book of
definite.
the man.
So therefore Al-Kabir is describing the book. So how do you translate this?
The big book of the man, or the man has a big book.
No, the first one, the first one was perfect. What is the first one you said?
The big book of the man.
Okay, perfect. So Kitabur Rajuli on its own means the book of the man. Kitabur Rajulil Kabiru means the big book
Book
of
of the man.
the man. Perfect. So Dilshad, shukran so much for joining us.
Maulana. Alaikum salam.
Naam. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Maulana, can you say the book of the man is big?
No, that would be
Was it-
Kitabur Rajuli Kabirun. That would be Mubtada Khabar. Remember, we said that the Khabar normally is Raf'un and indefinite.
Of an indefinite, okay. I
Like
was
we
just
say,
looking for
Ar-Rajulu
Raf'un.
Tawilun.
Okay. Shukran.
Okay. Next one, Bismillah. So next one. MashaAllah, we're having some more debuts here. You can either have it your first debut or just your debut for the day. Bismillah, next one. Kitabur Rajuli Al-Kabiri. Who's ready?
Muhammad Amin, 2017.
Muhammad Amin, MashaAllah.
Can I try, Maulana, inshallah?
Yes, Bismillah, Bismillah.
Kitabur Rajili Al-Kabir
Yes.
is the book of the big man.
Okay, good. Perfect translation. So because the book of the big man. Brother Muhammad Amin, let's put it on the labels for me.
Kitabu is Mudaf. Rajuli
good.
is Mudafun Ilayhi.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How do you know it's Mudaf Ilayhi?
It is Mudafun Ilayhi because it's in jar.
And how do you know it's Mudaf?
Mudaf is in Raf.
Okay,
And
but
it's
remember,
light. And it's light.
Light. Okay, good. So the main thing is we have a light followed by jar. Therefore, we have
Yes.
Mudaf and Mudaf Ilayhi. So what do we add?
Of the man, the book of the man.
We add the of. Good. So the book
Yeah.
of the man.
Yeah, I would say then, because that's a sifa now, Al-Kabir is linked now to Ar-Rajuli.
Okay, why did you say that?
Because it is the Kabiri is in jar now, and in the first example was it was in Raf because Al-Kitab actually was the same. The first instance, it was a sifa for Kitabu. In this instance, because Al-Rajuli is in jar, Al-Kabiri is in jar, the Masuf is for Al-Rajuli instead.
Okay, perfect. So Al-Kabiri is jar, Ar-Rajuli is jar. It is describing the man. In the first example, it's describing the book. Here, it's describing the man. And Muhammad Amin, one last time, give us a translation again.
Kitabur Rajuli Al-Kabir is the book of the big man.
Okay, perfect. MashaAllah. The book of the big man. So these examples are a bit more challenging, but they're also giving you more insight into how it works with the other concepts. MashaAllah. Okay, next one. And just these are examples not in textbook, these are just new examples. So this surah you all know. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ I want you to take a read through that ayat, inshallah, Surah Al-Falaq. And I want you to tell me, first of all, again, just take a moment, count how many mudaf and mudafun ilayhis you can find. Count how many mudaf and mudafun ilayhis you can find. You can pop it in the chat, inshallah. In the chat, you can just type it there. How many mudaf and mudafun ilayhis do you find? Okay, so in the chat, inshallah, bismillah. No one's typing there. But the Quran says 4. Any other opinion? Some say 3, but the Rishad. The Dodibot says 3. But the Wasim says 5. So we have 4, we have 3, we have 5. Any other takers? Norton, I'm not sure if Norton is male or female, but Norton says 4. Stabila says 3. Okay, we have different options. So what we're going to do, inshallah, we're going to give each person an option to do one verse, inshallah. So bismillah. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Who wants to go? Do you see a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi there? قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Do we see a mudaf and mudaf ilayhi there?
Maulana?
Yes, bismillah.
Yeah, Rabbil Falaq is the Mudaf ilayh.
Okay, so here
The
do you have two
Lord.
devices?
Yeah, let me just switch off that. Okay. The Lord of the dawn.
Okay, good. Good. So here, Rabbi, you can say Rabbi is light. The normal one would have been what? If it wasn't light, it would have been what?
Rabbin.
Rabbin. But now it's Rabbi
Yeah.
is light, and Al
Yeah.
Falaq means daybreak is fine. The
Yeah,
Lord
daybreak.
of the daybreak. So
Of
this is number one.
the daybreak.
So that's mudaf and mudaf and ilayh. Oh, good. So we're going to give someone else a chance, inshallah. Next one. Where's the next one? Min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. Anybody see a mudaf ilayh there? Bismillah. Min sharri ma khalaq. We're looking for light followed by jar. Anybody? In verse 2 or verse 3, do you see anything there?
مولانا شر غاسق.
Okay, good. So min sharri. So sometimes even if you don't know the translation, you can see light followed by jar.
I don't know the translation.
But you can see it. You can see sharri is light. What would it have been if it wasn't light?
Sharin.
Sharrin. But yet sharri and ghasiqin is in jar.
Jar.
I'll give you the words meaning. You can translate for me. Shar means evil, and ghasiq means just say darkness for now.
The evil of darkness. Of a
Good.
darkness.
The evil of darkness. The evil of darkness. Good. There is another one here in 2, but you can't see it, but that's fine. So we have 1, 2. We have 2. This is also one here, but this one we're not going to discuss now. So I'll just put a question mark there for now. Just leave it out for now. It's a tough one. And then, so 1, 2 is so far. Next one, inshallah. Anybody? وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. We're looking for light followed by jar. Nabila now. Nabila, if you change your answer, you must speak now.
Okay.
MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum.
So I think that the third one is Sharin Nefer 30.
Sharri naffathati. Okay, why do you say that? Because it's?
Because Shari is a light word and then Nefer 30 is in Shar.
Okay, good. What would Sharri be if it wasn't light?
It would have a tanween, so Sharin. And
Sharin, good.
should have an al in front.
Okay, good. Either Asharri or Sharin. Do you know the meaning of the words?
It's evil of something, I'm not sure.
Nafathat means those who blow. Those who blow. Nafatha means to blow.
Okay.
Fil uqad means into knots. So translation.
And from the evil of those who blow into knots.
Okay, good. So so the evil of an-nafathat, those who blow fil uqad into knots. Good. MashaAllah. Next one. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Anybody? New person.
Assalamu
Mariam, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sharri Hasidin.
Good. Sharri hasidin.
Hasidin.
Good.
So
How do you know it's
Shari
mudaf
would be
mudaf
the
ilayh?
light word,
Good.
the evil of Hasidin.
What's a hasid? What does hasad mean?
Lion.
What does hasad mean? People kept on
To
saying, don't be
envy,
hasad.
to be jealous.
To be envy. So a hasid is an envier. A hasid is an envier. So how do we translate sharri hasidin?
The evil of the envier.
Of the envier or an envier?
Of an envier.
Yeah, good. Hasid has no al, so therefore it's the evil of hasidin
envier.
of an envier. Okay, perfect. So in this sentence we technically have 5, but we only know 4. The 5th one we'll know one day, inshallah, maybe second year. Okay, good. So that was that verse. Let me clear all of these. Next one, same exercise. Oops, let me just close this. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. How many do you see? So first of all, in the chat, inshallah. Brother Junaid, you have a question? You can ask, inshallah. But while the rest of you, inshallah, you're looking at what? How many do you see? Brother Junaid, bismillah.
Yes, Maulana, I just wanted to ask, so when we look for a word in light, is it that both the al and the tanween is missing, or a al or a tanween is missing, or both?
Both. There must be an al missing and there must be a tanween and a noon missing. Both must be missing.
Both must be missing.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know if a al must be missing.
The al must be missing from we're talking about from the mudaf now, the first word. Light
Yeah.
means no al and no tanween together, both of it.
Okay, but I'm just asking, like, how do you identify that there should have been an al there? Like in the previous example. You don't have to change don't change the thing. I'm looking at it on my phone, but if you look at Shari Ghasidin.
Okay, so generally what happens is like, you can see now there's another shari at the end here. Your shari here. Is that normally a word with no al normally has a tanween. Except for a few other occasions, but that's
Yeah.
the normal default.
Okay.
Okay. I think let's go to the example, inshallah, and you can see if it's clear for you afterwards.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Let's do the counter. How many? We have 5, we have 7, we have 5, we have 7, we have 8. 8, sorry. 5. Okay, so some people have 5, 7, 8. Okay. So let's go. Bismillah. Each person gets a turn for one verse. Bismillah. قل أعوذ برب الناس. Doesn't have to be a debut. If you went before, it's fine. Each person gets a turn, inshallah. Bismillah. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Bismillah. Brother Abbas.
برب الناس.
برب الناس.
Is in mudaf. No al, no in at the end. And nasi is in jar.
Okay, so I think Brother Abbas, you have some 2 devices here, but let's go. Bismillah. So we have light, Rabbi, and An-Nasi is jar. So we have mudaf, mudaf ilayhi. You want to try translation?
What is the master of?
An-Nas means people or
Yeah.
mankind.
Master of
Translation?
mankind.
The master of mankind. Do you want to add the B as well? Let's add the B in the translation.
Let's
Let's translate be. Let's translate be as say from.
from the
So
master
kul
of people,
good.
of
So kul
mankind.
means say a'udhu, I seek refuge. Be. Oh, not from. Say with. I seek refuge. Oh, in actually. Be, let's make be in. In or with. Kul say a'udhu, I seek refuge. Be in the
In the
master
master
of
of mankind.
mankind. Okay, perfect. So we have light followed by jar. And Brother Junaid, you can see there Rabbi is light and there's no al and there's no tanween. And if there had to be a non-mudaf, it would be Rabbin. Okay, good. Shukran. Next one. Malikin Nas. Malikin Nas. Question?
Madana, sorry, before you go on. So if we
Bismillah.
thereby be Rabbin as the be in like according to our notes would be like by or with. So if you're gonna say, for example, in, because we have something else, that fee, that's in. So it means obviously be we have that beta walika the thing that we learned.
Yes.
We would have different meanings. So that's throwing me off a bit, even with the other exercises, because it has
Yeah, so basically what happens is the harful jar, I'm not harful, just a harful jar, the translation is very flexible with regard to the context. So I seek refuge by, I mean, you could say by as well, it should be work fine as well. Because I think we said be means by or with, I think. You say by or with?
By and
So
with,
I
yes.
seek refuge by the Lord of mankind. So that's fine as well. So basically, the context, you just see what fits best. But B just means with. B basically means with. But sometimes we might. I think the difficulty is when you render something into another language, you often have to change it, not because the original is a problematic, because the language that you're rendering it in doesn't fit exactly the same, if you know what I mean. So sometimes we just experience a bit of difficulty in translation because we have to be a bit flexible with translation, but the meaning of the word doesn't change if the Arabic, if that makes sense.
Yes, inshallah, practice will get better. Inshallah.
But with is fine. I seek refuge with the Lord of mankind. Next one. Sister Hasina, Bismillah.
Malana, I know we say the Lord of mankind, but if you say literal translation, then you say the Lord of the mankind. Am I right? Because it's annas.
Yes. Literally means the mankind, but annas is there to basically the al there is to indicate towards a group of people. So basically, again, annas is definite. To answer your question, annas is definite. But as we translate things into English, we might change the translation, but it's still definite. Yes. The Lord
So
of the mankind.
if I wanted to make it indefinite annas, what would I have said?
Not even,
Nasi.
it will be indefinitely
Understand what I'm
Rabbi
saying? Without the
Nasin.
al.
It will be Rabbi Nasin. It will be indefinite, but the translation will sound the same though.
Okay.
Okay.
Jazakallah.
Next one, Malikin Nasi. Bismillah. Who wants to go? It's just the Noor. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum, Maulana.
Wa alaikum
Okay,
salam wa rahmatullah.
Malikin Nasi is Malik is the Mudaf and Nasi is the Mudaf and Ilayhi.
Good.
And then you would add the in front and of in the middle. And
And
Malik
translation?
is light and okay, so it is
Malik will be king.
okay, so the king of mankind.
The king of mankind. Okay, good. Perfect. The king of mankind. The recording thing from my face. Where's this recording thing? Oh, what's this recording to the? Is it better? It's gone now. Okay. I think my mask goes over it and it shows every time my mask goes over it. Okay, Bismillah. Next one. Ilayhi Nas. Ilahi. Okay, I'll do the rest. I'll do this one. Ilahi means God, and Nas means people. So the God of people. So it's three things you seek refuge in. Qul, say I seek refuge. A'udhu. Bi Rabbin Nas, with or by or in the Lord of mankind, the King of mankind, the God of mankind. Min sharril waswasil khannas. Bismillah. Who wants to go? Ismail, are you going?
Inshallah, Sayyidi.
Bismillah, Bismillah.
The shari is the light because there's no al and it's not a tanween on it, you know.
Okay, good. So shar is light. Perfect.
Yeah. And al waswasi is in jar. And yeah.
Okay.
So
So shar is light and al waswas is in jar. So we have what? We have
mudaf and mudaf ilayh.
we have mudaf and we have mudafun ilay. Perfect. And translation?
That will say from the whisperer, the evil whisperers of.
Okay. So we add. So shar means evil. So we add a what before the shar?
That will of the okay. That will
The
mean
evil.
that will be mean. That is mean. There is from the evil.
Good.
Of
From the evil of
The whisperer.
what is the whisperers? Yeah.
Whisperer.
al waswas is the whisperer. Yes, referring to shaitan.
Whisperer.
So al waswas is the whisper referring to shaitan. So the evil of the whisperer.
Whisperer.
Of man.
Perfect. Perfect.
Al-Khannas. So that also a mudaf, not a mudaf, but a sifa masuf construction there.
Perfect. Perfect. Al Khannas is describing al waswas. Okay. Al Khannas means the one who withdraws. I just lost my mouse cursor here. Oh, what's happening here? I can't actually see it.
Evil whisperers.
Okay, so Sharri is mudaf and al-waswas is mudaf nilay and al-khannas is sifa. Translation would be from the evil of the whisperer. Al-khannas means the withdrawing. From the evil of the withdrawing whisperer. What that means, we will discuss in tafsir, inshallah. Okay, shukran. Now, my mouse is back, alhamdulillah. So that is number 4. That's number 4. Bismillah, that's number 4. Next one. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Who wants to go? Sister, is the brother Nabil?
The hearts of the person.
Okay, good. So sudur would mean chest. But let's go first of all. Why do you say it's mudaf mudaf ilayh?
So suduri is light.
Good.
And then nas, so that's your mudaf ilayh. So that's following it with jar. So it's the hearts
perfect.
of mankind.
Okay, good. So sudur will translate as chest or breast.
Yeah.
So
Is that
plural, yeah. Sadr is single and sudur is plural. And so therefore it will be the
hearts of men or mankind.
The hearts of men or mankind or humankind. Okay, good. So it's going to be the chests, actually, the chests of. Why do I say the chest actually? Because your heart is your qalb or your fuad, and your sadr is your chest. So one of the things the ulama say is that shaitan doesn't whisper into your heart. He whispers into the region where your heart actually is. And your heart is actually in your chest, but he's whispering. People is fine as well, yes. His whispering doesn't enter your heart unless you allow it to. So that's one of the one of the beautiful things about the word sadr, it's almost like someone enters your property, but they don't enter your house. If your house is well protected, someone could enter into your property, but they can't get into your house. So if shaitan comes into you, whisper into your chest and say whatever he wants to say, if your heart is strong, your heart is illuminated, your heart is protected by the remembrance of Allah, that whispering will not enter into your heart. So fi sudurin nas. Okay, perfect. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mudaf and mudafun ilay. Okay. I think we're going to, I know we spent a lot of time on answering the questions, but I think it was useful to go through these examples practically. What we'll do, I must think about the homework. What is my mouse? My cursor keeps disappearing from here. I'm just trying to find it again. Okay, this is back. And let me just clear all of this. Okay. I want to, I'm just wondering if I must do, let me just see if we should do this here. I think let's leave it at that because I don't want to actually do more work than that for today. I think it was a good practice for us to go through it. I know you had homework to do. Let me quickly ask you, are there any questions on specific examples in the homework?
Maulana, I had a question.
Yes, Bismillah.
So number 11, exercise 6.3, number 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand it. So we early in the stages of this process, but yeah. So I have translated as they who disbelieved from the people of the book. So I may have gotten the translation or assistance from the online sources, but I just want to know, how do you know to add who in that instance there? How would you know? Is it again one of those things that you will just know because of the context?
Sorry, I do know to add?
Who they? So they who disbelieved from the people of the book. In number 11. That's how I found the translation. Maybe others found it differently.
Okay. So yes, okay, good. So I understand your question. So basically, without with looking at the word for translation, kafaru means they disbelieved. Kafaru, number 11, kafaru min ahli al-kitab. Kafaru means they disbelieved. Min from ahli al-kitab, from the people of the book. So your question is, how do you know it's kafaru, they who disbelieve from the people of the book? So basically those kind of things we basically add when there is a specific context available. So when there's a specific context available, then we will slightly change the meaning depending on the context of the whole verse. But because we're only seeing a portion of the verse here, it's we just translate it as is basically. So they disbelieve from the people of the book. But in the bigger, in the bigger context of the ayat, we might change the translation slightly. Okay. Any other questions?
Maulana, for number 10.
Yes, Bismillah.
It's Narullahil Muqada. So the first two words, Narullahi, is Mudafun Ilayhi, the fire of Allah.
Yes.
And then the last word, I wasn't sure how to label that. It means kindled.
Okay, good.
The fire of Allah.
Al-Muqadatu. What does Al-Muqada mean, first of all?
It kindled. A
Yeah,
kindled
kindled.
fire.
Kindled we actually mean a fire with fuel added to it. A fire, so you make a fire, and muqada means when you add wood and you add whatever tinder and stuff to it, then it becomes basically a fire. So the question is, how do you label that?
Yeah.
So what do you think it's doing?
It's describing the fire, isn't it?
Okay, good. It's on the fire. Does it match in Jend?
Yes, because there's an implied al on Naru.
Okay, so they're both definite. Are they both
Okay.
Rafun?
Yes, they both are often. So it's
What about gender?
I'm not sure about gender. Nar is female, I think.
Good. Nar is feminine. Why? Because it's deemed feminine. Good.
Yeah, it's
And
deemed.
muqada is masculine or feminine?
Muqada too. So the the two makes it feminine.
Okay, so they match in gen basically, and they're both single. You with me? So
Okay,
the
yes.
label for muqada is sifa,
Okay,
and now
okay, I
is
see now.
mawsuf. So it's the kindled fire of Allah.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah, because then I looked it up because I wasn't sure, and then the translation I looked up said the fire of Allah, and then comma kindled.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So
The fire of Allah kindled.
yeah. So again, and I think that's why also we do Arabic. Translation is always not going to suffice perfectly for Arabic and for Quran and so on. So in the end, the objective is actually to understand the Quran in the Arabic without too much reliance on the English translation. Therefore, I'm not always concerned about how you translate something. Like whether you say the kindled fire of Allah, or you say the fire of Allah kindled, or you say the fire of Allah that fuel has been added to. You just know in your mind that muqada is actually a description of nar. So muqada, in other words, if you have like an image in your mind, you see a fire that has abundant fuel, and that is basically belongs to Allah. You with me? And the imagery basically is there to tell you it's not a fire; it is a small fire, because first of all, it's narullahi, it's the fire of Allah, and when you attribute something to Allah, there's immediate greatness to it.
I see.
You with me? It's not
I think
the fire of
the
a
thing I
tree
didn't
or
see was also where that matched in definiteness. I didn't see that
Yes.
because it's implied al. So
yes. So the difference is like it's not easy to see, and the gender also, because the one is deemed feminine, the one has a feminine ending. Okay, good. Any other questions? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through all of these answers next week. For those of you who are making qada of your homework, you can catch up. You can catch up on this homework, inshallah. And then we'll also give you the answer sheet for this. So your homework will be to mark this off the answer sheet. And then if you're confused about any of it, you can ask me next week, inshallah. What I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to try to translate. I'm going to ask you to try, and it might be difficult for you, but to try number 7.2. 7.2. You don't have to do all of them. Okay, actually, just try all of them, inshallah. So 7.2, I want you to just try to translate it. Nothing else, no labels, nothing else. Just try to translate 7.2. So your homework is to mark. I think I need to disable screen. What is this here? Okay, so we can do 6.3 for you can mark, and 7.2 you can do for homework. You can just try it, inshallah ta'ala. Then on your shared drive, there is a new sarf one on your shared drive.